Hi guys!
Hi!
Oh,
Ah, good girl.
welcome to our channel. Today we're going to be talking about aubergines. We both love aubergines, Molly not so much. We love them, they're easy to grow and we use them in so many different dishes, from parmigiana to baba ganoush, mutabel, pasta norma, moussaka, the list goes on and on. We absolutely love them. We can't grow them all year because of the frost. So today I'm going to show you how to preserve them so you can enjoy them all year. A lot of people just slice them, grill them and freeze them, which is a great way to do it. But we can't spare the freezer space because in winter we only have a small freezer. We turn off the chest freezer off in winter. So today I'm going to show you how to preserve them in oil. This recipe I'm going to be using is called Melanzane sott'olio alla Calabrese, which means aubergines under oil in the style of Calabria, which is the southern tip of Italy. When I first came out of cooking school, I used to work in an Italian restaurant, and I used to work with a lot of different Italian and Sicilian chefs. And there was this one chef, Massimo, who taught me how his family preserved them in oil. He was from Reggio Calabria, which is like the toes of the boot of Italy. So shout out to Massimo. You can also you can also slice them, grill them, and preserve them in oil in kind of the same way. You've got to salt them first, but that's a whole other recipe. I like this way because you preserve them raw, so you don't have to spend hours over a hot grill grilling all these aubergines. So, okay, let's jump into the kitchen and start the recipe. Okay, so I've weighed my aubergines. I've got about 6 kilos. So for each kilo of aubergines unpeeled, just as they are, you'll need 25 grams of salt, 100 milliliters of white wine vinegar. You can use red wine vinegar, you can use cider vinegar, whatever. 1 to 2 cloves of garlic to taste. 6 basil leaves. You can also use oregano, you can use bayleaf. I mean, you can use whatever you like. And about 3 red chillies and a bunch of extra virgin olive oil. Now we'll go through that a bit later. First thing I want to do is peel these aubergines and slice them. I'll show you how now. So you can peel them just with a knife. You can use a potato peeler. So first you want to cut them into 1 centimeter slices. Like that. And then, so basically like thin cut chips, about 1 centimeter across. Not too thin, not too thick. Okay, once you've cut them all up, put them into a big enough container and add 25 grams of salt per kilo of aubergine. So 150 grams in my case. And give it a good mix. Just make sure that it's really, really well combined and evenly distributed. Then you're going to want to put a weight on it, so about 4 to 5 kilo weight for 24 hours. Over here I just put a plate, and you can use what you want. I'm going to use my granite mortar because it's quite heavy. Okay, it's been 24 hours, so I'm just going to remove this heavy mortar and the plate. Look how much liquid there is. So now I have to take out all this liquid from here. Once you've strained it and removed all the bitter liquids, pour in a few liters of fresh water just to rinse them off lightly. And now just squeeze as much liquid out of the aubergines as you can. All I do next is just add a couple of cloves of garlic per kilo, so I've got about 12 here. Just cut them up chunky and mix them in. Okay, they're nice and dry now. Now we'll just add 100 milliliters of white wine vinegar in my case per kilo, so that makes it 600. So I'll pour that in and give it a good mix. Just make sure once again it's really well combined. It's well mixed. Put that plate and wait on them again, and we'll wait for another 24 hours. Alright, another day gone, and our mission today is to get them into the jars. So first we have to extract every drop of liquid from these aubergines. You can try any way you like. If you have a press, lucky you. One way we do it is to squeeze them out in a clean tea towel. You can do it like this, but I found rolling them up like a spring roll is the most effective way to do it. Okay, now that they're nice and dry, I'm going to put them into a bowl, and I'm going to add about 35 milliliters of extra virgin olive oil for every kilo of aubergine, so to around 200 milliliters. Earlier I picked some basil leaves, some beautiful purple basil and normal basil, and gave them a good wash and dry, and I put them in between 2 sheets of kitchen paper, so they really dry out a lot. Whatever you're going to be flavoring them with, just make sure that they're dry. You can use dried oregano, bay leaf. If you're going to use something that has some moisture content in it, like basil, just make sure they're really dry and a bit dried out. Okay, time to get these jars sterilized. These are 350 milliliter jars, so I'm using 1 per kilo of aubergines. So I think I probably need about 5, but I'll do 6 just in case. So just make sure you boil them for a good 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes from boiling, and make sure you do the lids too. Take them out and put them on a clean tea towel so they dry out completely. If they're not completely dry and you want to do them, just wipe them down with a bit of kitchen roll. Okay, there's my aubergines all mixed with a bit of olive oil and all the basil, and there's the chili and the garlic. So now we're just going to stuff them into the jars. Just put a tiny bit in the jar just so there's a beginning of oil, and you're just going to grab these aubergines and compress them as much as you can into the jar. And you've really got to push them in. So the main thing is that we want to remove all the air bubbles. So just keep pushing, squashing them in. And if you need to, add a bit of olive oil as you go if you see there's no oil coming up. Try and distribute the garlic and the chili and the basil evenly throughout the jars as best you can. Now you want to get a clean knife or a skewer or whatever just to get those air bubbles out. And just top up with olive oil. So you can do that for a while. The olive oil will sink, so that's why we leave them like this for a good 12 hours. Just put the lid on them, but don't close it. And every now and then, every 4 hours or so, just come here and get an air bubble out or two and top it up with olive oil. Don't want any air bubbles in there, and it takes time for it to really sink in. Okay, so just put the lid on top, but don't close. And we'll check them in 4 hours. Give them a little move about, trying to remove all the air bubbles. So we'll be back in 4 or 5 hours. You can use a toothpick, you can use like a wooden skewer, whatever. Okay, that looks good. So now just wipe the rim with a piece of kitchen towel. And that's it. There you have it. Just make sure you label them with the date. And keep them in a cool, dry, dark place. Even up to a year. And I would wait about a month until all the flavours kind of infuse into the aubergine or the whatever you flavour it with. In my case, chili, garlic and basil. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy these if you make them in a month's time. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We'll see you next time.